to the No Half Step in Hockey coverage. It's time for me to deliver the goods. Time for operation number 744. That's right, time for show number 744 for the Renegades Puck. And at this moment in hockey history, the Nashville Predators are still very much alive. With 2 games to go in the season, Nashville Predators currently find themselves in 5th place in the Central Division. They have a record of 41, 31, and 8, 90 points on home ice, which is where the remaining 2 games of their schedule will take place. They have a record of 21, 14, and 4. They've scored 222 goals in the season. They've given up 231 goals. That's a goal differential of -9. Now, the next matchup for the Nashville Predators, as a matter of fact, the final 2 matches of the season will take place in the Central Division, and the Nashville Predators find themselves in a very unique role. Yes, fighting for their own playoff lives, but could play spoiler when it comes to the division winner for the Central Division. The Nashville Predators will face off next against the Minnesota Wild on Thursday, and then Friday will face off on home ice against the Colorado Avalanche. Now, how wide does that matter? With the top of the standings, let me update where we are right now with the Central Division standings. The Colorado Avalanche are in first place with 104 points, 3 games remaining on their schedule. The Dallas Stars have 104 points as well, 2 games remaining on their schedule. The Minnesota Wild are 2 points back at 102 points. They also have 2 games remaining. So the Minnesota Wild's final game of the regular season will be this game against the Nashville Predators. We'll know a lot more after tomorrow night on Tuesday when the Minnesota Wild are in Winnipeg to know how the Wild will approach. Obviously, a Wild loss in that game in Winnipeg means the Wild will be in the 3rd seed for the 2-3 matchup going into the playoffs and will have nothing to play for against the Nashville Predators. So a lot of intrigue going into these final couple of games of the season, and that is incredible. Considering where this Nashville Predators team was, there's so much still to talk about. The Winnipeg Jets are in 4th place with 93 points. The Preds have 90 points. And after that, St. Louis, Arizona, Chicago, all eliminated. So the Central Division, with 2 games to go in the season, still has 5 teams still alive. Now, the wild card race. The Seattle Kraken, congratulations on their first ever playoff berth. They will be the number 1 wild card team, which means they will take on the number 2 seed. More than likely, that's going to be the winner of the Central Division. So at this exact moment, Seattle would take on the Colorado Avalanche. That's going to be one hell of a series right there. The Winnipeg Jets sit in 2nd place wild card with 93 points. The Calgary Flames are officially eliminated, 91 points, but only 1 game to go, so they cannot catch the Winnipeg Jets. The Nashville Predators have 2 games to go, have 90 points. They can still catch the Winnipeg Jets, but they're going to need some help. They do not have control of their own destiny going forward, but they're going to push the Winnipeg Jets to have to knock the Nashville Predators out. Now, for the Nashville Predators, I already mentioned the remaining schedule. It's pretty short. It is this game against Minnesota, and then the next night against the Colorado Avalanche, and then that will close out the regular season schedule. If the Predators make the playoffs, well, obviously there will be more hockey to play after that. Now, the Predators' next opponent is the Minnesota Wild, and it is do or die. The Predators have to win their remaining games and hope that they get some help from Winnipeg. So, going into this game against Minnesota Wild, let's go back and take a look at the regular season series and the recap for the Minnesota Wild. On the season, they have played 80 games. They have a record of 46, 24, and 10, 102 points, 2 points behind first place in the Central. On the road, a record of 21, 13, and 6. They've scored 242 goals in the season. They've given up 218. That's a goal differential of plus 24. On the season series now, this will be the 3rd and final meeting of the regular season between the Nashville Predators and the Minnesota Wild. Go back on the November the 15th. It was the Preds scoring a 2-1 victory at Bridgestone Arena. UC Saros 32 out of 33 in the game for the victory. Matt Duchene and Nino Niederreiter with 1 goal apiece. Ryan Johansson with 2 assists. On February the 19th, these 2 teams would meet in Minnesota. The Preds would fall 4-3. UC Saros would take the loss 31 out of 35. The captain Romeo, 1 goal and 1 assist for 2 points, but Tommy Novak would actually outdo that with a goal and 2 assists for 3 points. Now, for the Nashville Predators, injuries have, of course, been a considerable problem. The captain, Romeo, it is rumored he could be back in for these final 2 games of the season. Highly unlikely we still see Philip Forsberg still listed as day-to-day. Cole Smith also listed as day-to-day. Carrier, not sure if we're going to see him back in the lineup. Luzon, not sure if we're going to see him back in the lineup before the end of the season. Now, the Minnesota Wild's most recent stretch of games, their last 5, it's on April the 3rd. They scored a 4-3 shootout loss versus the Vegas Golden Knights. On the 6th of April, a 4-1 loss at the Pittsburgh Penguins. Bruins on the 8th of April, a 5-3 win versus the St. Louis Blues, and a 4-2 win at the Chicago Blackhawks on the 10th of April. Tuesday night, we'll see the Minnesota Wild take on the Winnipeg Jets, and that will go a long way to knowing how the Nashville Predators will approach this game coming up on Thursday night. Again, it will be Minnesota's final regular season game. Minnesota has already clinched at least the number 3 playoff spot in the Central Division. Right now, they would match up directly against the Dallas Stars. Taking a look inside this matchup, though, going into the game, the Nashville Predators goals for 2.70 is 28th overall in the NHL, while 2.94 for Minnesota is 24th in the league. Goals against 2.65 for Minnesota, very respectable number. There's 4th best in the league, while the Preds are giving up 2.86 per game. That is 12th best in the NHL. In the shots for category, the Nashville Predators have struggled most of the season to generate shots, but especially without Roman Josi, they've fallen to 23rd in the NHL, generating 29.6 shots on net per game, while Minnesota is generating 31 on net per game. That's 18th best in the NHL. The shots against category, 33.4 for Nashville. That's 27th overall in the league. In the shots against category for Minnesota, 31.3 per game. That is 17th in the NHL. When it comes to special teams, the Nashville Predators power play has been, well, fairly lackluster all season long, and I don't see any reason why it's going to change with 2 games to go. 17.6% conversion rate on the season is 27th in the league. 43 out of 245 opportunities. Minnesota Wild, better than that. 21.5%. That's 14th best in the league. 53 out of 246 opportunities. When it comes to the penalty kill, both of these teams quite good, actually. 82.2% kill rate for the Preds is 9th best in the NHL. They have given up 48 power play goals against. When it comes to the penalty kill for the Minnesota Wild, they are 11th rated in the league. They've given up 46 power play goals against and have a kill rate of 81.6%. Individual stats and leaders for each team. The captain, Roman Josi, and it would be a huge boost for the Nashville Predators needing to win out, needing to get some help from the Winnipeg Jets. The captain, Roman Josi, leads the team in scoring, could be back in the lineup. 18 goals, 41 assists for 59 points in total. Matt Duchene, 22 goals and 34 assists for 56 points, is out. Phil Forsberg, 19 and 23 for 42, also out. Tommy Novak, 17 goals and 24 assists for 41 points in glass, 14 goals and 20 assists for 34 points in net. UC Saros' updated stats, 32, 23, and 7, a 919 save percentage, and a 2.69 goals against average, making a stronger and stronger case with every save for not only being a Vezina finalist, but perhaps so much more. When it comes to the Minnesota Wild, the visiting team, the team leader is Kaprizov, 39 goals and 35 assists for 74 points, and he usually does quite well against the Nashville Predators. As a matter of fact, so does the next skater, Matt Zuccarello, 22 goals in the season, 45 assists for 67 points. Boldy at 31 and 32 for 63. Eriksson, 23 and 38 for 61. And former Nashville Predator Ryan Hartman, 15 goals and 22 assists for 37 points. On the season, Marc-Andre Fleury, plenty of experience against this Nashville Predators team, a record of 24, 15, and for a 909 save percentage, 2.84 goals against average. And again, the Minnesota Wild will be playing their final game of the regular season, getting ready for a potential first-round matchup against the Dallas Stars or the Colorado Avalanche, or they may be coming in competing for the division itself. We'll find out a whole lot more in about 24 hours when the Minnesota Wild take on the Winnipeg Jets. That's got you all set up for the Nashville Predators versus the Minnesota Wild. It's the next to last game of the regular season, back-to-backs to wrap up the season for the Nashville Predators. 4 pivotal points on the line going up in this back-to-back, and the Preds still alive at this moment in time, at least as of this recording. Going to force the Jets to do the hard work and push the Preds out the hard way. That's going to do it for the preview. Coming up next is the Rebirth Sports full game recap. Let's go back to Calgary with the season on the line and UC Saros and net. How would the Nashville Predators fare? We're coming up to it next.
Hockey players are as unique as the game itself, and your uniform should be tailored to fit you. Rebirth Sports is your sports apparel tailor. From shells, bags, warm-ups, hats, hoodies, branding, and more, let Rebirth Sports be your custom hockey tailor.
And don't forget to tell them they do more than just hockey.
Rebirth Sports on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Rebirth Sport, a match made in hockey.